Everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sol.
And we are here for episode 2 of House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon. We all know what we're talking about. They brought back the classic intro music and also that intro animation. Ah, yes. Yes. Give me the weird. It's like a scene from Blade with the blood going down and it goes. That's I meant that as a compliment. It's just just from the intro.
Mike likes it so much he has the Italian hands.
I'm going Italian and I'm Irish as hell, but I'm going Italian on this. Like that was good stuff. And the show hadn't even started yet. I was like, this is just credits. But also it was kind of fun to once again be able to sit there and go, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
The funner one is wiener, wiener, wiener,
wiener, wiener, wiener, wiener, wiener. You're old enough. Watch South Park. And as somebody who is currently rewatching Game of Thrones as well, Butters was not wrong. Anyway, it's man, this kind of stuff in this episode is why I love Game of Thrones. This political intrigue kind of stuff, like this is what made Game of Thrones. So this is the kind of political talk that the Star Wars prequels wish they had. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like yeah. It's kind of what I'm hoping I get out of Andor as well as some this kind of stuff. This was just soap opera juicy drama with a couple of dragons, and I'm so here for it.
I think shout out to the geek buddies over on the Outlaw Nation. They were like, us nerds love our soap operas. Like it's nerdy, but it's soap opera. Like 100%.
Yes. I ate this episode up. This was so good. Everything from like continuing to explore this just now, and I didn't realize we did a 6-month time jump.
Yeah,
because I was like, what is, and they were just like, we've been developing for half a year, and I was like, oh, that's smart. That's smart. Yeah, let's not waste a whole lot of time here.
And I think that's what they're doing, because the book that it's based off of reads very much like a textbook, and it's very much goes like, let's hit all the pivotal and important moments that happens. So they're kind of going like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the important stuff. Here is all the seeds to the battle between these Targaryens. And
that kind of makes me wonder, are they just trying to get this over with in one season, or are they trying to? Well, not in so much one season, but it's more like the problem that Game of Thrones had was it went faster than the books were being created to the point where they had to deviate or the show was going to end. Yeah. So I almost feel like for this, they're just kind of like almost treating it like the Harry Potter movies, where it's like, look, we're going to bullet point the important stuff. We are cutting out a lot of the fluff that we don't need, because Game of Thrones, like you'd go over the course of 2 episodes, you'd cover maybe a day.
Right.
Whereas with this, it's like, no, look, in these 6 months, nothing of any real importance happened. Let's just get to the good stuff.
And they show you to the importance of things that happen. Like we'll get into it, but like Alicent and the king, and you can see that their relationship has budded, or different things about like, oh, Rhaenyra and her father aren't really on speaking terms, and you can kind of understand that. Or, oh, this is what Daemon has been up to. Like you get a little bit of exposition, but you get it in clever ways.
Yeah. I don't need to see an entire season of just like the 6 months after the fallout here. Like we have a big time window to cover, but this way we can make sure that we're doing it in exactly as many seasons as we need without having to try to fill out. Like, look, here's the story we want to tell. We're trying to tell this whole block of time. How much do we need? Okay, where can we skip ahead?
Yeah.
And just get to the good stuff.
And also showing to which Game of Thrones, you would get the payouts, but you would get them sometimes seasons later, where they would warn something and then you get it seasons later, which was great. And great for like doing the previously on, because like you're like, oh, wait a second. But we had stuff that was said that was warned in the first episode that kind of came to fruition here. Like, especially with Corliss. Like he was just like, this is a problem in the free cities. And then you kind of see the gross in the very beginning of the episode how much of a problem it's become. Yeah.
This episode was not nearly as disturbing as the first episode was, but there was some gross. There was a couple moments in this episode where I was sitting there watching it, and I had to pause it and just say to myself, my God, this is good. I think one of those scenes was when it was, I am still learning these characters' names. So the princess, Rhaenyra, and Olivia Cook's character, her friend.
Rhaenys. Oh, no, her friend is Allison.
Yeah. That scene, the two of them like lighting the candles, that was such a nice, beautiful scene, the two of them, because you know we're 6 months removed from the queen dying, and it's very clear that Rhaenyra has not really set aside any time for herself to just grieve.
Yeah.
And you know, like speaking from my own experience, like when I lost my dad, I tried to get my life back to normal a little too quick, and I paid for it hard. And that's why it's so important to have that grieving process. And I loved, there's just this quiet moment where she's just sitting there, and then it just hits her.
Yeah.
And if you've ever lost someone, you know, close to you like that, you understand how sometimes it'll just come at you out of nowhere. And, for Allison to just put her hand on her arm, and she's like, she didn't need to say anything, just be there. I'm like, I paused it after that scene. I was like, this is why this is why these guys are so good at what they do. Yeah, it's such a great scene, and it was so minimal. It's one room, there's very little dialogue, and there's a lot of just open silence, and
it's just everything that was unsaid.
Yeah,
like and the best thing too, like about these two characters, which is why it's so interesting, the reveal at the very end of the episode, is that these two are best friends, and they're kind of written a little bit like lovers, like you're in love with your best friend in a sense, but like it's completely platonic, but they, or at least you think this is for the moment, this is Game of Thrones.
Anything's on the table, including on the table.
But like, I'm like, they read so gay to me. Like when I'm watching the episode, I'm like, they're so gay for each other.
It's the no homo gay is what it is.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, these two actresses and Rhaenyra, I forget what their name is, because they go by they them pronouns.
Thank you. I did not know that.
Yeah, what their name is, but they were saying,
Millie Alcock.
Yeah, we're playing this kind of like we're in love with each other, even though we're friends. Like,
I'm sorry. Emma D'Arcy, Millie Alcock plays young Rhaenyra.
Oh, the young Rhaenyra, then yeah, that's who it is, because there's an older Rhaenyra that's going to be played later.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm stupid and didn't know that. I thought
so the older Rhaenyra.
I thought there was going to be like flashbacks or some shit.
No. All right. They are the younger Rhaenyra, and then the person who was doing the dialogue in the first episode at the very beginning, that's the older Rhaenyra.
Okay, so then that's Emma D'Arcy. That's the person who goes by they them.
Yes.
Millie Alcock, who's playing her now at the age of 15. The actress is 22, 15. Okay, gotcha. I'm on board. We got there.
I think but I forget which of the two go by they them, but like one of them does.
The older one. Because I'm looking at it right now in front of me, so now I know.
Okay, there we go. But this episode, there's just so many good scenes just between, which is what you want with characters, and you can see the machinations that are happening politically. Like the scene between Rhaenys and her husband Corlys trying to wed their daughter, and then you see later, because the daughter's 12 and this is a grown man, and you see
he's grown.
Yeah. And then you see Rhaenys there speaking with Rhaenyra, and I think like I wrote the dialogue here because it was just so much like she is bothered by her daughter having to marry this older man. She is bothered by it. Because like that's the first thing Rhaenyra is like, aren't you bothered? Of course I am. But I know the order of things. I don't think you do. And Rhaenyra goes, well, when I'm queen, I will change the order of things. And kind of saying, you're never going to be queen, honey. Like that's not in the cards for you. It will be a male with either my daughter or someone else's daughter. Like it's going to be a male heir. And kind of just between them, and two, seeing where this happens a lot, where when you have women in power, they're going to go with the status quo so they don't lose their power, kind of thing. So sometimes they're not doing what's best for the advancement of women because they're like, I'm up here. I like it up here. They view me as one of the guys, or like as someone that's cool enough to be here. So I'm not gonna mess with anything.
Yeah, not my pig, not my farm, not my problem.
Exactly. And so I think too, she's felt slighted, and I think too, her husband believes she should have been queen.
Oh, sure, because then he would be king.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's trying to set things up. And the second that gets denied, which morally, that was correct on the king, but as a king, that was not a good choice.
My options are a beautiful woman of age, younger than me, my daughter's friend, but you know, it's
either a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old, pretty much.
12-year-old that I'm related to.
Yeah.
It's like my niece, essentially.
Yeah, it's a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old. That's his options.
Yeah. I also, I'm not gonna lie, I have a really hard time buying her as 15 just because I know Olivia Cook's like my age. It is one. It's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man thing. It's exactly. Like, oh yeah, true. He's totally 16 with 4 headlines and a 5 o'clock show.
Right. But so like that between those two women is such a powerful scene. The trying to get, and then two, just you see Alicent, she's there, she's listening to her father, but she has made a friendship with the king. And I think what won her over and what is going to make her queen is the fact that she's not actively trying to be queen. She's not trying to gain anything. She's just trying to be a decent human being, which you see her being with Rhaenyra. So, and that is what makes the king go, oh, that's why I'm choosing this. I'm going against my advisors to go with Alicent Hightower because she's nice.
Not only is she nice, but like I think it's very smart on her part. She knew damn well what her father wanted her to do when he sent her to the king's chamber. Put on one of your mother's dresses and go keep him company. She's like, okay, I will. But I'm going to read him a book.
Yeah.
I'm going to read him a book or just ask him how he's doing.
Right.
Talk with him about his model. I do not believe for one tiny iota of a second that she has had anything other than just warm, friendly feelings towards the king. I don't think at any point was she like, I'm falling in love with him and I'm gonna get me my man. She was just like, I'm just trying to be a decent person.
I'm respecting my father and following his wishes, but I'm doing it in my way. Or my father is wanting, Otto Hightower 100% is like, go sleep with the king. Pretty much without saying go sleep with the king, that's what he's wanting. Is like, make him fall for you so that way you're queen one day.
Even what he says to her is, he's like, you are known as the most comely woman in the court, which SAT word, kids, comely means basically naturally beautiful. It's like, you are known as being the most naturally beautiful woman in all of the court. It's like, that is, it's kind of similar to how Valerius III was towards Daenerys in Game of Thrones. He just saw her as just a thing to be for a man to have sex
to wet off, yeah,
wet off. That's how he sees his daughter. Is he was just like, you're my one shot at getting in even better with the king than I am now.
Exactly. And that's why I don't trust Otto Hightower at all. He's putting his hands into everything. And I think outside of what's that guy's name? The person who beat Damon in the first episode. Sir Sir Cole.
Yeah, Sir Cole. Sir Kristen Cole.
Sir Kristen Cole. So
he pretty.
He is like, first off,
it's pretty man.
he fine as hell. He's battle tested, and he beat her uncle. Like, of
which
course,
based on Game of Thrones history means he's probably gay.
Right.
That's kind of seems to be how the show goes.
But you look at everyone else; they're probably in Otto Hightower's pocket, except for the Dornish, Sir Kristen Cole. So she picks him, and you can even see there, because like you hear too, like, oh, I've come with people, and the hand has helped me choose some of them. Like, you can obviously see he's trying to get a person onto the Kingsguard. He's trying to get his daughter as queen. He's like, you stay here, I'll go talk to Daemon. And if it wasn't for Rhaenyra stepping in and being like, there would have been bloodshed. Like, why didn't they think, Daemon has a dragon? Why are we just going to go without a dragon here? Like, that was so stupid.
Yeah.
Because, like, the second the dragon came out, they were like, shield your swords because we're not winning this. Yeah. Of course not. You didn't think about his friggin' dragon in the first place? Like,
they're thinking with ego is all it is. He's thinking purely with the idea is like, I'm just here to get mine. That's all I'm here for. By any means necessary. These men are loyal. These men are part of my guard. They are loyal to me. They're not going to say a damn thing to anyone. And that's why when Rhaenyra tells her father, like, hey, by the way, yeah, I did this thing. I went there, even though you told me not to. Here's what I did that your hand wasn't about to do.
Yeah,
like,
could not accomplish.
Yeah, I stopped bloodshed.
Yeah.
And you can see that look on his face of just, oh shit.
Yeah. And the relationship between Daemon and Rhaenyra, although I think the king meant the mother, I forget how alike you two are, but in that I was like, does he mean his mother or does he mean his brother? In that sense.
They speak Valyrian to each other.
Yeah, they do. And even though the king understands Valyrian, we haven't really seen him speak it that much, or even and it's pretty much, you have these two people, they're speaking to each other, and it's the only one in his family that he like truly cares for is Rhaenyra, which, go read the books, you'll find out why. You can probably guess why.
It's Game of Thrones. Gee, I wonder what it could possibly be.
Right. But he has a love for his niece, and I even wrote this, like, he has a love for his brother too, and he wants to protect his brother, and he follows the sibling code, which that sibling code is, I can speak shit about my brother, but no one else can say shit about my brother.
It's Wednesday Addams. Nobody gets to torture my brother but me.
Exactly. And so he's actually, in his own weird sadistic way, he loves and wants to protect his family, but the king is just trying to make enemies everywhere he goes.
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because it's very because we get that in the very first episode before he sends Daemon off, where he's like, why you should have made me your hand. Why should I? Because I'm your brother.
Yeah.
It is very clear to him that family is everything.
Yes. And
he feels like his entire family has turned its back on him. So now he's like, well, then fuck all of you.
Yeah. Then and I think in that moment, he saw that Rhaenyra didn't turn his back on him. Yeah. Because like in that moment, I think he realized it's not her decision. She didn't turn her back on me. It was my brother who did.
Mm-hmm. Which means that I have a sneaking suspicion that she is going to be siding with Daemon before this season is over. I haven't read the books, so I could see you smiling already. So I'm probably right. Or I'm way off base and I'm completely wrong. Either way, it's just is Game of Thrones. This is HBO we're talking about. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. So, but just the way it's setting up, I mean, again, we're so early on and anything can happen, but I just suddenly remembered how much I loved the scenes with Rhaenyra and her father. They were two great with them. There's the one of them just having the most awkward dinner ever, and finally just saying something to each other.
Yeah.
And I love the thing he says to her in the second conversation when he's basically trying to tell her, he's like, look, like, I'm the king. I have to get married again.
Yeah.
And she kind of has that understanding of like, yeah, I get it. I don't have to.
Yeah, mother would understand too.
Yeah. And I love the last thing
she should have said, it could be anyone but my best friend.
Yeah. I love the last thing he says to her, which is like, I don't want I'm paraphrasing, but I don't want us to become estranged.
Yeah.
Because that's really, because he even says to his counsel, he's like, what's my daughter going to think? And they're like, who cares? And he's like, I care. It's very clear to him that much like his brother, his family means everything to him. He did not like having to make the decision he did about his wife. He was torn up about that, and it's driven a wedge between him and his daughter, which just got driven a lot bigger at the end of this episode.
And if she ever finds out truly what happened there, it's going to drive an even bigger wedge. And that's just, I don't know if that's going to happen. I can see that happening where like later, like she's like, this is what truly went down in that birthing chamber, and you chose the male heir over my mother kind of thing. But the thing though, that I can never replace your mother, just put no more than I intend to replace you as my heir kind of aim. We kind of know with Game of Thrones she's not gonna be the heir.
And I think that moment of like, whether, you know, if and when it comes that she finds out the truth about what happened in that room, I think that's going to be the thing that pushes her over towards Daemon, to her saying, you were willing to sacrifice my mother just so you could have literally anyone but me. I'm out.
And I think that the king is being true in his words there. I think he's being 100% honest, but we know that that's not the case in the future. So it's going to be interesting to see how it gets to that point where she is no longer the heir.
I strangely believe in my heart of hearts that the king is a good man and means well by everything he does. He's doing what he truly thinks is the correct decision, and wants nothing more than to make everyone happy. He's just trying to do the right thing, and that I don't think he has any ill will in his heart, and I think that's what's going to be his downfall.
Yeah, he is 100% a peacetime king. He knows how to be a king when things are going well, but things are not going well at all, where right now we had the warning of 6 months previous with I keep saying Corlys. I don't know how to actually say his name, but I believe that's how you say it.
I think it's Corlys.
Corlys.
Like, as if an apple had no core. It's Corlys.
Corlys. Yeah, but Corlys goes, this is an issue in the Free Cities right now, and it's going to become, and you need to do something about it. And he's like, we don't need to worry about that, because, and Corlys, half of the ships in the kingdom are his. Like, he's the shipmaster, basically. And so you're pretty much denying this person that is Valyrian, this person that comes from old Valyria, just like your family. You're basically cousin-in-law, because he's married to your cousin who should have been queen, but because she was a woman, didn't happen. So, and the fact too that you see him, and even before we see Daemon, I knew he was talking to Daemon, where he goes to visit. He goes to visit Daemon because he was the only one in the first episode who was like, I'm fine with Daemon staying as heir. Everyone else was like, no, we need to change it to Rhaenyra. Daemon is way too dangerous. And he was like, I'm cool with Daemon. Like,
yeah.
But
because he's one of the people, the king is surrounded by people that want power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think the king wants power. I think for him, it's more of a duty thing. He's like, this is just, this is my responsibility.
I was chosen and therefore I have to do it. Yeah. But I even wrote down to House Valerian's origins reach back to Old Valyria, more ancient even than House Targaryen, according to some texts. But unlike the Targaryens, we were no dragon lords. For centuries, my house had to scratch out existence from the sea with grit and luck.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a chip on his shoulder, because when you think of the houses in Old Valyria, like a lot of the houses had dragons.
Yeah.
That's what became their downfall in Old Valyria. So
they his family about that in this episode, I think, like that there were like thousands of dragons or something like that. And
yeah. And so the fact too, like you have this Valyrian household, this household that marries into Targaryens, and like kind of like, even though I'm so glad he's not getting with a 12-year-old. A 15-year-old's no better, but not getting with a 12-year-old. He kind of said fuck you to his cousin and to her husband in choosing Alicent Hightower. And that's not a smart decision to do.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no. Yeah. And yeah, Daemon going, yeah, my brother's never good at those things. What things? Being king.
Yeah. It God, the show's so good.
Yeah.
The show is so good.
And like he even Corlys like earlier told him too, like, you should marry my daughter. Here's the reasons why. Mm-hmm. Like he went down, he was just like, Daemon has an army and a dragon and is on Dragonstone right now, and also he stole an egg, like kind of thing, but we didn't get that till later.
By the way, just want to let you know he also stole an egg. I'm just saying, like
yeah,
you didn't hear that from me. She stole an egg.
right. But like Daemon's there. We have this problem in the Free Cities. We have all of these issues arising. You are not doing anything about it. You're just letting things happen. Kind of like you need to show your strength, and your strength is shown by marrying two Valyrian households. And he's like, nah.
Yeah. I also feel like Valeris, this look that he gives Rhaenyra at the end of the episode before she rightfully storms out.
I think it's
I feel like he was almost looking at her like she was going to give her approval, because I almost feel like deep down he thought that, well, if there's anyone that she'll be happy to see me marry, it's someone she already knows and loves, right?
Right.
Oh wait, now was it? Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay.
And we had our talk, and we're good now, so she'll be fine.
Yeah, we're good.
And seeing, basically two members of his family, because Corlys not only married to his cousin, but like those two houses are very intertwined. Like
a lot of just don't look at the family tree, kids. It doesn't exactly fork very much.
Right. So like he fucking pissed off two of his family members, and he already pissed off a family member last episode. Like
I honestly,
and
I
his
don't
family has dragons.
And they've got dragons, guys.
Yeah.
They have dragons. I don't think
and he doesn't anymore. And he doesn't anymore because he rode the Black Dread, but the Black Dread like died. So he does not have a dragon.
Yeah. And as soon as he loses Rhaenyra, she's taking their last dragon with her, and probably the eggs. And I don't see Valeris making it out of this season alive. I know for sure he's gonna have another kid, because he's Valeris the first, and Daenerys' brother is Valeris the third, so we need a Valeris the second somewhere in there.
I don't think there's an L in there, but
what did I say?
Valeris, I think is
Viserys.
Viserys. There we go.
I'm saying Valeris.
Yeah, I was like, there's not an L in there.
Anyway.
I was like, I'm not correct in mine, but I was like, I don't think there's an L.
I don't know. I don't know. This is why
too many names, and they're way too similar. Like,
and they're all fake.
Rhaenys and Rhaenyra.
Look, all I'm saying is, in Game of Thrones, we had Ned and Robb, okay, and Jon. In this, I've got Viserys, Daemon, Rhaenyra, Corlys, Alicent, Mysaria, Kristen, and Harold.
At least Otto is easy.
Which is such a.
But
yeah. I love this show.
The show is so good, and I want to know, because like one of the best things with Game of Thrones is when it did have the material to follow, it didn't always follow it to a T, and created some stuff that weren't in the books that were really, really good. So I'm excited to see how that's going to play out with this season. It's so good.
Let me ask you this: do you think they time jump again?
100%. Yeah.
Like next episode, do you think we time jump again to another 6 months?
I mean, if you watch the preview for the next episode at the very end of this episode, like she already has Aegon.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're probably jumping ahead a year.
Yeah, like Aegon is a baby.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I just looked online. It has been renewed for a second season. So, already.
Yeah, that happened after the first episode.
So I think, I think we might, especially because they have Emma D'Arcy, who is playing older Rhaenyra. She's got the billing over Millie Alcock, who's the current Rhaenyra. So we're probably getting to her.
Yeah.
Either the next episode or the one after that.
I think we still see the younger Rhaenyra next episode. I think in the 4th episode we'll probably get to her.
Yeah, because there's only 10 episodes this season, so we're probably gonna do a lot of time jumping to get to older Rhaenyra sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting because this is the most like the War of the Roses. Okay. Because I know George R.R. Martin says a lot of Game of Thrones was based off the War of the Roses and the way people treated each other. And it's like some of that stuff in England is way more fucked up than what you read and see in Game of Thrones. But the battle with this family is way more like the War of the Roses than Game of Thrones.
100%. And I am here for it.
Yeah, so if you don't know much about that, definitely go check it up. It's crazy.
It's nuts. It's crazy. But let us know what you guys think down in the comments. So much going on 2 episodes in. We want to know what you guys think. So let us know down below. Let us know on Twitter. All of our stuff's in the description of this video. Make sure you like it, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. We'll see you guys again next week for another exciting installment of House of the Dragon here on Off the Wall.